Hi, my name is Dave Colt. I'm a co-founder, head brewer, and one of the owners of Sun King Brewing Company.
And I'm James Helmuth. I'm the quality control, quality assurance manager at Sun King Brewery.
Chief Science Officer.
Chief Science Officer as well.
So you were just explaining your past with Gen Con there. You could
Reiterate that?
Yeah.
Yeah, I started off with Gen Con back when it first started here in Indianapolis. I was the head brewer at the RAM. My general manager at the time knew of the convention because he owned his own comic book shop years and years ago, and so he talked to me about it, and we decided that we could brew a beer that would be specific to it, and I've been brewing one ever since for Gen Con. This year is the first time that we are officially sanctioned by Gen Con.
Okay.
So
it was under you and your GM that Gen Con brewed their, or that the Rams started their relationship.
Yes,
there with
absolutely.
Gen Con.
Yeah,
Okay.
my GM sort of reached out to some folks at Wizards of the Coast, and what we do on Wednesday before everything started, just kind of run through and do a strafing run, and just grab whatever materials were extra that they weren't able to put up and hang them up in the restaurant.
Okay, cool. So, and at what point did you leave to start Sun King?
We brewed our first batch of beer at Sun King on July 1st of 2009.
Okay.
So that's when all that happened. So I was the head brewer there until that time.
Okay. And what kind of was your precipice or your reason for wanting to go off and start your own thing with Sun King?
I wanted to have full reign of creativity of all the beers and everything that we had, to do. We wanted to be a community partner and be more deeply involved than a chain corporation type of thing would allow us to do.
Okay. And you were saying that these were some of the initial relationships between RAM and Gen Con that you were there on board for. Mm-hmm. So these are things that you've kept on, and that's what's led to your partnership with Gen Con now.
Yeah, we had a couple of cursory conversations over the course of time. It turned out a friend of a friend was, looking for some extra partnership locally for Gen Con, and brought it to our attention that, hey, they might want to partner with a brewery more specifically than just, a couple of the pubs around making beer. And so we said, hell yeah, because obviously we've been part of the convention and knew what it's all about.
Right on. So now, are you still the head brewer over there at Sun King?
Yes.
So I guess, can you tell me a little bit about the beer that you brewed as the Gen Con beer for this year?
The Ale of Destiny.
Yeah.
As voted by the Gen Con folks, so you all came up with that name. I was actually having a conversation with James, and we were talking about, what we could do, what would be fun, and we started coming up with more descriptions of the beer, and
it kind of steamrolled. A lot of it we couldn't do because of copyright issues, so we had to scale it back.
Yeah. So then we,
Was that like partnerships that you wanted, or like naming things that you wanted to reference?
Yes.
Different games
in the
things of that nature.
and that sort of thing. So we sort of came up with a feel for the beer, and then backed into, well, what does that mean in real terms, and the materials that we can source and put together here. And so we went, it's got to be dark, but not, like rip your soul out, but looking like that. And so, the beer is quaffable. You can have several of them and not, feel that loopy, but also, a lot of flavor and enjoying. So we decided that it needed some funkiness in there. So we put in 3 different Belgian ale strains, which James chiefed from tiny little packets into full-blown batch volumes.
What was and you said that was the kind of funk that you were going for? That's why.
A little spicy herbal character that's in there is from the different Belgian yeast strains.
So did Gen Con basically just say, like, we want an official beer from you guys, and that was the only guidance you got? Or did they give you any sort of, like, these are the sort of things that we're looking for, and use that as like a springboard?
No, I mean, it started off as sort of a partnership, and then we said, hey, we can brew a beer for it. Wouldn't that be awesome? Okay, well, if you did, where would you have the tapping party? So we actually had it here at High Velocity, right across the street from the convention center, not think we had about 200 people in line when we tapped it at 6, so it was quite a lot of fun. We also had a big 20-sided die roll-off, and so we gave away 2 passes to
2013.
Yeah, to 2013 Gen Con.
Okay.
Yeah, 2 4-day passes, and
Gift certificate to here, gift certificate to the local comic book store, gift certificate to Sun King.
Was that the comic book store?
Downtown Comics.
Was that the one that your GM?
No, he lived out.
Okay.
He lived out west. Yeah, he lived in Arizona and owned a comic book store.
Okay.
Yeah.
Very nice. Let's see. What were some of the other things? Well, you were saying that you had gamed, but that's something that you haven't done in a while, or?
Yeah, I just now I'm married with 3 kids, and there's no between owning a brewery and running a brewery and 3 kids, there's no time for that kind of fun stuff. So it's nice that this comes to town once a year where I can just kind of walk around and go, oh look, there's some LARPing over there. Isn't that nice?
How about you? Are you involved in gaming at all?
I very much am. Before being in the brewing industry, I worked at a comic book store in St. Louis for about 10 years, and I loved it. I gamed all the time, and I moved out here in January, and was looking for something. I had no idea Gen Con existed, and so this was kind of a blessing.
So, and when you got your job at Sun King, did you know about their relationship with Gen Con too?
I had no idea.
Wow.
So it was like a couple months in, they're like, there's this thing called Gen Con. I was like, tell me more, please.
Absolutely.
Nice. So what sort of, like role playing or board games or?
All of the above.
All of the above?
Play everything.
Have you had a chance to walk around the grounds at all?
I got a chance to walk around yesterday, and I still haven't had a chance to play anything yet, but
That
my
comes
brother's
tonight.
That's coming tonight. My brother's coming in town, and I think we're gonna game most of the night.
Nice. Wow, that's really exciting. Cool. I mean, I think those were the main things that we wanted to ask, unless there was anything else you guys had to add about the partnership or anything of that nature.
I think it's awesome. It's a natural fit, and can't wait to do it again next year.
Do you have any plans for what next year might bring, or any dreams that you would like to see?
Beer-wise?
Yeah, beer-wise and your partnership-wise, and maybe if you could partner with some of these gaming companies to get around some of those issues of trademark and.
That would be our hope, is that we could use some actual verbiage that really sort of bonds the two together a little bit more.
Yeah.
So you have to walk before you can run, and this is the first step, and I think it's been a tremendous first step. I think it's been pretty well received, for sure.
Yeah, 200 people out the door on the tapping party doesn't sound too bad for a first year.
Our head sales guy was working at the bar that we were just sitting at, and then I was at this one, and the taps didn't close for over an hour. We poured out 6 kegs in an hour's time.
So is it gone now, or?
They have a couple. We still have some more for them here. So there's some other places around town that have it. Crown Plaza has it, Harry and Izzy's, and to name a few.
Cool. All right.